right word. It's noon. I wanted to take a bath. I wanted to take a bath. Must underwater. Who's got a bath for the angel? Okay, what is an angel for? So, I was sharing. I know that people will come across synchronicity more often, especially now that we have Google Translator. People will witness miraculous timing coming from other languages that will sound like their own, to make sure a moment is had, or a certain thought is achieved. To think that we're on top of them, that would be false, compared to we are always responding. We are always responding to other people. So it might appear somewhere that people that have already lived are responding to the people. I mean, people that are dead are responding to the people that are alive. But that would not be true. It would be more true that the people that died did things for a reason, and they need their kids and the next generations to learn and survive. So when you come across something like synchronicity, or the miracle that would be witnessing timing trying to save you, coming from humanity, it's not supposed to be dangerous, but it is, because of gender and because of the letter Q. People have previously been taught that competing is the way to do it. And that Kate Bush song with the Army Dreamers, she's blinking in her music video, because of how the older generation may accidentally do it to get rid of the more attractive younger men. So, like, what happens to her at home when she blinks? Is it gonna be, the person that was perhaps drafted, or is it going to be, an old man? I'm sorry, everybody else is gone. Human race will survive, though, now, thanks to me and you coming together. So, I mean, that's a frightening reality that people really should need to do that more, put themselves in check. And my band name, The Untitled, came from wanting to I had the idea of doing something for somebody really nice without getting the credit, or like, so the listener will feel like a part of composing the song. So it's like the entitled would mean it's ironic because it's the, right? So it's like there's a title because of the word the being there, but it's the idea was to do it less for the musician or whatever and more for the people, and so that the person coming across it would be like, oh wow, I'm participating in creating a song, and because of all these new discoveries and everything, I guess they're not so new, right? It's always been done again. Wow. But it is very new, though, to people. The idea, or just what I've witnessed, is very beautiful. So I did a song that should. I heard a song and I was just sharing what it was sounding like.
Power on.
Whoa.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
I should do another one because I don't want to.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
So, while I was perhaps participating in creating a dream, so that people wouldn't be tempted to put something in something or whatever, was a part of it, I guess. But what would that be? I guess an example of that would be when I drug tested myself and PCP came up in it. How in the world did PCP come up in it when I should have been completely sober? That was very unusual. But I mean, obviously something was put in my stuff. But how weird that. I guess that's scary that somebody could have so many people beneath him that somehow it's somebody else's fault. Okay, so what was it? That was so weird. Okay, so after I did that, I did the Chinese song and I did Ukraine and then Russia, and then after that, like the ads and the shows and stuff showed like they showed what was it? But what did the boy do? What the heck? And so I guess there was conflicting minds somewhere because of the war going on. Okay, anyways, I was trying to look at, so there is, what was it, Ukraine, ancient Ukraine song, ancient Ukraine song, that was so crazy, I just don't want to. So when something comes up that's negative, it would be best to teach next generation to stop and come up with 3 things that counter it. How many times would people have to do that before it's actually I mean, because when people actually have that in a habit as a society, coming across something negative would be a lot less often. And people would be so much more prepared for it. And other people would be really helpful constantly. The possession. Okay, so ancient Ukraine song. So instead of thinking that I'm on top of people or something like that, that's not the right way to see it. The way to see it would be that they're wanting me to align with something that's more helpful or the most helpful, right? But that's not necessarily true. We are dangerously responsible with how we don't want to hurt other people. So, okay, I think I found the video that I watched before. Okay. I mean, from my perspective, I have no idea what the difference is. What's, Ukraine and Russia. I intentionally avoided history and the news so that I would have the most fresh perspective for creating because I wanted to be a writer, and I was always writing, and I wanted to have the cleanest mind so that I wasn't taking ideas from other people or whatever, which is kind of impossible. But, I'm not sure. I have no idea what to choose here, so maybe I should just do it random. That'd probably be wisest, because I don't want people to think I'm... Here, I'll just do this. 5. And wow, does that need to be clean? I had a visit from Bad Santa. Okay, 5. So, I'm not having the best day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That guy's all, he's all looking at the wheel. Interesting, right? Because you don't want it to be yellow. You're hurt. Yes, I'm definitely hurt right now. Hurting. That's okay though. I'm surviving. I want to hurt as long as possible. Is this like a karaoke thing? Because it's showing me lyrics but no song. I thought I said don't do dope, You'll feel no more cold because the sun is coming, the money is coming. And it's so unbelievable, and you'll come and hold or something. Someday, and then there was an image of a child building a building with rocks. We'll build it up, the sun, and where it left the city. So it's like talking about rebuilding. So at the same time, there are three things happening. People seeing dumb, bombs coming down, and something else. That was saying it doesn't really matter with what the political views are, but where's the liberty or something like that. It said, yes, don't let it come from you. And it was talking about, it's the fear that I've had, that I woke up to when I came up with the ideas for doing the A-rated films or whatever, because of the inevitable, thought police or whatever that could arise in the future, and then thinking, my culture, people have embraced, freedom of expression and everything, so I should, of course, be a good example here, and but don't want to become the thought police or be forcing people into whatever. I mean, how when a person is just watching a movie or something, they're not really thinking. They're kind of just watching it. It's kind of just going. They're thinking from the movie, probably. I grew up watching R-rated movies since I was a child. The very first one I watched, actually, was an R-rated movie. Me and my friend Polly weren't allowed to see the scary parts. We had to hide under the blanket. It was very innocent. Saying, don't worry, it will never be you, and people will know the truth, because of I was having concern that people would try to frame me for something I didn't do. Sell it and say it to the weaver. That's my brother's wife. Her parents, to bring them pre-death funerals is where it was going. Wow, right there, it was sending that we already did that. We already know that. We already know that tradition. It's when somebody falls. Wow. They were saying something about using jewelry. Using jewelry. And the right ankle. I guess it started the right ankle, maybe, and somebody would fall. And talk about the traditions that created Stonehenge. We're always going to participate in making those traditions in the future by a very small chance, but they've already done it themselves. Don't think that, we're actually creating history, but we are participating in the creation of it by a small degree. When it may feel like a lot more when a person is witnessing what I am with, all these different cultures and languages, because we just barely introduced something like a translator, a language translator, on the internet. With phones and computers everywhere, people are able to, I can actually do this and fully embrace a foreign culture to the best of my ability or whatever, so much better. When I go to a restaurant or something, I could actually, with my family, I plan on doing this, having like practicing speaking their language, and not being allowed to speak our own language while we're there or something. That'd be fun. I wish my family was doing that with me more when we were traveling, because the French were really annoyed from the English, from hearing English, even just hearing it. This is when does this stop? It's like not their language. But we were bringing in money and stuff. We were attractive people. The hotel room, there was like some it was like, oh, it was funny. There was some like naked guy with a captain hat window across the thing from where we went and stayed. I was with my mom and my sister. Oh my gosh, oh my, what's that? It's funny. He didn't expose everything. We went to a part of the city that was didn't want to be in the touristy part. We tried to be in the more French part, and it was a lot more away from where people usually go. So that was really beautiful, and the people were grateful. I didn't know how to say anything. So, the song, the 80s song, The Metro, riding on the metro, calling me a soldier, though, that song, like everything they said in that song really fit me perfectly, which is so weird. You ever heard that 80s song? Because of the birds and just everything that happened while I was in France. I didn't know how to speak their language, and I was, I wouldn't, I had a rule for myself not to speak their language unless, I was, unless they told me that I could. So I was, trying to speak their language until they go, you can speak English. and that's pretty fun. My mom was a flight attendant. She's been everywhere. I guess not everywhere though, huh? Wow. a man that's forcing her to be the object is not going to succeed. And it was saying, that last part, there was too much going on. No more put. Yeah, that's why I put this song on, because I realized I messed up and could have endangered myself, because I was sharing what it sounded like it was saying in English, and they had a moment where they said, at least we don't put something in somebody's food or something like that. and so and so this is my attempt to fix it. And so right there, it just sounded like he was saying, no, don't worry about that. Wow, you say wonderful food and you obey. You like my food? Really? I was saying, be careful of other food. It is always dangerous. That is what the pentagram was for originally. The original intention of the pentagram was learning elements so that the fire wouldn't burn the wood, and so that a trade could be made without people dying, which is impossible pretty much, because there's always consequences that come from that. But it, practice makes perfect. We'll never have it perfect, but it's always an effort. It's always work. There'll never be a perfect trade that is, well, that's not necessarily true, but it is very dangerous to a tribe coming across another tribe and then, trading things and stuff like that. It could be allergies and stuff like that. People could think that that's something completely different, or just not understanding maybe different blood types or something. That's funny. Wow. It was saying that I was going to get married and be old, and being grateful to have an old person, because that's all I want, really. That's in my album where I was trying to teach, trying to fix what people, the spellcraft or whatever, and the stuff that they do, because there's logic in what they did, and it makes sense somewhere, right? So I was trying to teach that, and there was somewhere I mentioned where somebody does something like a love spell or something like that. It would be selfish to do it unless you're doing it for the oldest version of that person. And maybe it'd be even potentially dangerous, the birds and the bees, everything. Do favor some people over the others. Right there, it was saying, we won't help the food over the people. there's a boom, which is an elephant that came and trampled their stuff, they'll stand up. He said, we need more than food, but don't sell evil. And it's saying it's not even, and we need help. That was very beautiful. Miraculous experience is what I feel like I'm constantly witnessing. Washington, I definitely need to do that, and that's where I'm located right now. It's needed so badly that the song I listened to yesterday, well, there are two songs actually. One of them said in the song, must underwater with the sound of bzzz, because I've been showering more lately and bathing less, put it that way. So I haven't been as clean, and totally freaking out because of a bug that shouldn't be found in my car. But that's okay. I just need to absolutely clean every inch of this car today. Well, the clothing part of it, anyway. Have to be sure.